Hello everyone, hope you're having a wonderful day, and today guys I just want to make a quick little video going over how you can level up your prisms as fast and as easy as possible, so maybe you can enjoy those legendary fragments at the end of it, and also to give my thoughts on the new prism system as well. I got a thing or two to say about this new system, and it ain't all sunshines and rainbows, I'll tell you that much.
Oh my gosh. What do I do?
So Remnant 2 just released their new DLC alongside a big free content update which saw this new prism system introduced. And for anyone that doesn't know, this is just a rework of the old fragment system that was in the game originally. And for the most part, the new system is pretty sleek and comes with loads of cool and new upgrades to grind for. But to get those really cool upgrades, you're gonna have to level this little shit all the way up to 51 before you get any of that really juicy stuff. So that's where I come in to hopefully make your life just that little bit easier so you can enjoy that level 51 prism that little bit faster. So this is going to be really short and simple. Are you ready for it? You just need to do Gauntlet Boss Rush on Survivor difficulty. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard correctly. You just need to do the Gauntlet on the easiest difficulty in the game. Because unfortunately, there's just not that much XP difference between doing it on Survivor and doing it on Apocalypse. In fact, for most people, it is probably going to take you twice as long to do an Apocalypse run than it will if you did a Survivor Gauntlet Boss Rush. Meaning, statistically, you're probably actually losing XP by just running Apocalypse. There's really no point. But seriously, they're only going to give us 0.15% times extra bonus XP. Like, what? So I think the difference between running the Gauntlet on Survivor and running the Gauntlet on Apocalypse is maybe like 28,000 XP, which, like I said, the Apocalypse Gauntlet's going to take you twice as long. You're going to be able to run 2 Survivor Gauntlets in the time you probably take to run 1 Apocalypse, so you're going to get way more XP from just duking it out in Survivor Gauntlet. I think personally maybe the XP should be higher for the higher difficulties, like maybe 0.3% to maybe 0.5%, maybe 0.5 might be a little bit too much, but I feel like the XP rate should be a little bit higher if you are completing higher difficulties of any of the boss rush. Because I think right now an average Survivor Gauntlet would probably take you about 40 minutes with a really good build, and I think maybe about 50-60 minutes with more of like a mid-average tier build. If you got a really good build, that 40-minute Survivor run is going to net you 98,000 experience, which is actually pretty good. So I really do think you could easily smash out 2 Survivor runs in the time it takes to do 1 Apocalypse run, which means that you're probably going to net yourself nearly 200,000 XP in the same time that it probably gets you 130,000 XP from the Apocalypse run. I know it might be a bit brain dead just going through Survivor when you got a really good build. You're just going to absolutely delete everything with like one shot, but it does seem to be the most efficient way to level up your prism the fastest. But if anyone else has a faster XP farming method for the prism, I would definitely like to know down in the comment section below. So that's pretty much all you need to do. Just run Survivor Gauntlet or just any boss rush on Survivor difficulty. It's going to be the easiest way to get your XP for the prism. Still takes, you know, like 10 plus hours to fully level it up, but Survivor Boss Rush is definitely going to make that grind just a little more bearable. Unless you want to challenge, disregard everything I've just said, run Nightmare, run Apocalypse, do whatever you want, but if you do want a much more relaxing and chill time, just run Survivor. It seems to be the most efficient way. But now I am going to give my thoughts on the prism system, and boy is there some things to unpack here. Now don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the new prism system. I think it is really decent. It just needs a little more ironing out. It's just, you know, some things that are a little stinky in the new prism system, but I think the whole new UI is very refreshing. The new sound when you're like inserting fragments, unequipping fragments, that's very nice. The extra fragments that they've added in, they took some away, they took some of the poopy ones away, and they've added some absolute bangers in, like explosive damage, status effect damage increases, which is just going to further improve our builds, which is, it's really good. I do love all the new fragments that they have added in, and the prism offering you these game-changing legendary fragments when you do fully max it out. That is really, really cool. But unfortunately, I don't think it has been executed the way people would have wanted it to be executed. And I'll explain why. So Remnant 2 is no stranger to RNG. Basically every bit of equipment, well not every bit of equipment, but most of the equipment that you need for your builds, for your character, is all tied behind RNG. The ring world drop, rolling for your fragments, whether it be dwell or opening up chests. Amulets, just to list off a few, I'm sure there's probably other RNG we could sit here and talk about, but they are like the three main bits of RNG that are already present inside of Remnant 2. But this new Prism system has far too much RNG, far too much for it to be enjoyable. So how and why is there too much RNG? Well, for starters, you need to level your Prism up to 51 to get access to over 40 new legendary fragments. But here's the kicker. You can only choose 1 out of 3 randomly generated at the end. You can't dictate from the start what legendary you want to hone in on, and also you can't re-roll that legendary fragment upgrade. So once you've locked that bad boy in, that's it. You can't change it. Nope. You're more stuck with that legendary Prism than a Siamese twin is stuck with their sibling. It's so silly. And the only way to re-roll that legendary fragment is just to flush your Prism, get rid of everything and start again, level it all the way to 51 just to have another chance at getting a legendary fragment that you need. And then you can imagine what happens if you don't get the one you need. You have to flush it again, start again, and keep repeating that process over and over and over again. And like, I feel sorry for all the really unlucky people out there, because holy fuck, this would take you a long time if you weren't getting the legendary fragments that you needed. And this isn't even taking into account that you might not even have good fragments on your Prism to begin with. So I'm going to use my Prism here as an example. This is the first one I did. It is fucking shocking because I had no idea what I was doing, especially with the fusions. I didn't know about the fusions that you want to try and get the fusions on here so you can free up space. This other one I'm working on, the greed one, much better. Mwah. This is going to be my explosive damage one. I know what I'm fucking doing now. But yeah, this is going to be much better. But this is all good and dandy. This is all good and dandy, but I could still get this 51 and not get any legendary fragment that is going to further improve my build. It could be absolute dog water. And that is going to suck. That is really going to suck because this takes a while. It does take a little bit of time invested. And you do this over and over and over again, you're going to get fucking sick of the game, I tell you that much. You can also feed your fragments in, your mythic fragments in to hopefully get what you want on your Prism. As you can see, I'm actually fucking doing a really good job here. But man, you better cross your fingers, your toes, your balls, your titties, because once you feed your fragments in, there's still a chance that when you level up your Prism that you will not get these things. I don't know how small or big of a chance that is, but some people are complaining about that. I haven't had that personally happen to me yet. So you can actually brick your Prism before you even start leveling it, and that's where the next problem comes in. You cannot flush your Prism until you get it to max level. So if you get really unlucky, you are stuck with a crappy Prism until you get to 51, which is a good chunk of time invested just for you to flush and start again. Well, you could also just use another stone. They have put quite a lot in here. I feel like that would alleviate the issue, but you still got to re-level it all again, and you could still run into the same issues. So interesting system. I think if you were to spend a lot of time on this and you weren't getting lucky, it would not be fun. Like you would not be having a good time whatsoever. It's just wasting time for the sake of wasting time, I feel. Not to mention, when you feed your fragments in, you have to re-farm for those as well. Another layer of RNG. So there's already 3 layers of RNG into one system. And some people might be like, oh, maybe farming your fragments back wouldn't be so bad. Just go to dwell and spend a whole bunch of relic dust. Well, sometimes this motherfucker right here doesn't want to give you what you want. I need a mythic explosive damage fragment. I have invested 2,000 relic dust. No mythic explosive fragment to be friggin' seen. So I really think one of 2 things needs to happen for this system to, be enjoyable and for people to want to invest time into it. Number 1, I think we need to be able to reroll a legendary fragment, which I think Tragic has already come out on Twitter or maybe Discord and said that they do have the tech to actually let us reroll for legendary fragments. So, there probably might be an update coming soon with that, and that would be amazing. That would be absolutely fantastic. So that does seem pretty promising. And also maybe let us flush our Prisms out before 51. I see so many people complaining about that it's not fun getting locked into something. You have to spend 10 hours so you can get unlocked out of it. So I think being able to flush your Prism before level 51 would be a massive quality of life Not as important as re-rolling the legendary fragments, I don't think, but being able to flush before 51 would also be a massive improvement. And the second option, which I think might actually help with all the stuff above, is just give us more XP. Like in boss rush, I feel like the bonus XP should be higher for completing higher difficulties. The 0.15, I really don't think that feels very rewarding to try and finish a pot gauntlet and you're only getting 0.15% times extra bonus XP from over Survivor, mind you, that's kind of wild to me. I really think if one of two of these things changes, this system will be kick-ass. This will be a really fun system. Grind out a couple of hours on boss rush or just, run through the campaign again. Just to level up your prism, work on all 7 of the prisms, and it will probably feel really, really good to absolutely steam roll through the game. I mean, we're already steamrolling through Apocalypse anyway. The builds are getting pretty crazy, but it would be interesting to see how crazy and how far we can actually push the builds in Remnant 2. But unfortunately, just right now, I do feel like it feels like more of a chore than an actual fun activity I would want to invest a lot of time in. The reception from the community feels pretty lukewarm at best about the Prism system as well. So I'm sure there's going to be some updates coming for the Prism system in the future. I mean, Tragic already stated themselves that they do have some tech to maybe further improve the overall Prism system, which I think it's needed right now. It's a little stale. So I want to end on a high note instead of all this depressing criticism about the Prism system. I really did enjoy the new DLC. I think it's one of the best out of the 3. The team really outdid themselves. The glider, all the new equipment, the story, the weapons, the gear, the new class, the Warden. It's all really, really good. It's just such a shame that this is the last DLC and we're probably not going to get any more DLCs for Remnant. But they really did go out with a bang. I thought this was arguably one of the best DLCs. And that last boss fight, peak friggin' cinema. Peak cinema. So appreciate all love and support as always, guys. And until next time, stay safe. Peace out.